Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. In this video, we are the Newlands Executives Accountant. We're talking about segmental reporting and interim report of Genting Berhad. So, before we start, let me introduce my teammates, which consists of Nur Arissya Nadia, myself, NurQueen Nabisya, Sharifah, Milisya, and Ayuni Sara. So basically, in part A, we were talking about the company background, the management approach, reproduce a segmental report, and lastly, conclusion. So now I will let Nur Arissya Nadia to begin our presentation by talking about company background.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Arissya Nadia Binti Abdullah. I am the new account executive of Genting Berhad. I would like to share with you about Genting's Berhad company background. It is developed by its founder, the late Tan Sri Lim Goh Tong, in 1965. His dream of creating a mountaintop resort in Malaysia, the late Tan Sri Lim Goh Tong set off on a journey. The most well-known of Genting is its controlling ownership of publicly traded resorts world Berhad. Lim Goh Tong uses to operate the sizable Genting Highlands Resort complex outside of Kuala Lumpur. After studying maps of Kuala Lumpur and its surrounding, Lim discovered Mount Ulu Kali in Genting Sempah, 58 kilometers from Kuala Lumpur. On 27 April 1965, he founded a private firm called Genting Highlands Berhad, which is now Genting Group, with the late politician Muhammad Noh Omar. The Genting Group currently consists of Genting Berhad, its listed companies Genting Malaysia Berhad, Genting PT Berhad, and Genting Singapore Limited, as well as its wholly owned unlisted subsidiaries Genting Energy Limited and Resorts World Las Vegas. The first hotel of corporation was officially opened on 31st March 1969 when the late Tengku Abdul Rahman, the first Prime Minister of Malaysia, placed the cornerstone. This event also marked the completion of the access road to the Genting's Highland Resort. The resort also given a casino license by the Malaysian government to help grow the country's gambling sector. Theme Park Hotel was the name of the first hotel built in Genting Highlands, which opened in 1971. 6 new hotels were constructed at Genting Highlands Resort in 2017 as part of the resort's growth, which are Genting Grand, Awana, Resort Hotel, Genting's Hotel, First World Hotel, and Croc Falls. As Tan Sri Lim Goh Tong also involved in the core leisure and hospitality business, the Genting Group offers a variety of products under a number of premium brands, including Genting, Resorts World, Genting Club, Crystal Cruise, Dream Cruise, Star Cruise, and Maxims. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Arissya Nadia Binti Abdullah. I am the new account executive of Genting Berhad. I would like to share with you about Genting's Berhad company background. It is developed by its founder, the late Tan Sri Lim Goh Tong, in 1965. His dream of creating a mountaintop resort in Malaysia, the late Tan Sri Lim Goh Tong set off on a journey. Moving on to our next part, which is Genting Berhad Vision and Mission. Genting's Berhad Vision is we are leading multinational corporation committed to enhancing shareholder value and maintaining long-term sustainability growth to our core business. There are 5 missions of the company, which are to be responsive to the changing demands of our customer and excel in providing quality products and services. Number 2, be committed to innovation and the adoption of new technology to achieve competitive advantage. Number 3, pursue personal policies and provide proper training, development and opportunities for career advancement. Number 4, generate a fair return to our shareholders. And lastly, be a responsible corporate citizen committed to enhancing corporate governance and transparency.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Sharifah Milisya Izwa Binti Muhammad Isham and I'm a new finance manager of Genting Berhad. So I will present about the factors that need to consider having a segment reporting. First of all is the nature of the business of Genting Berhad. Genting Berhad have a variety way to present their activities in report. To give an instance, for Genting Berhad, main business is comprised of leisure and hospitality business, which covering theme parks, gaming, hotels, seaside resorts, and excitement for over 50 years. The other factors is the existence of managers responsible for the activities. Briefly to explain that the operating segment has a segment manager who will take care of maintaining regular contact with the chief operating decision maker to talk about operating activities, financial results, forecasts, or plans for the segment. And the last one is information presented to BOG. The characteristic might be applied to two or more overlapping groups of the elements that managers are accountable for. For instance, in some organizations, certain managers are in charge of various product and service lines across the globe, while other managers are in charge of particular geographical areas. Both sets of components operating results are periodically reviewed by the principal operating decision makers, and financial data is provided for both.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NurQueen Binti Wirakarnain, and I am the new executive accountant for Genting Berhad. So now let's move on with the type of segment. So there are two types of segments for Genting Berhad, which are geographical segments and business segments. In geographical segments, Genting has also expanded its business through the world, which including China, India, Singapore, Indonesia, America, United Kingdom, Egypt, and Bahamas. And Malaysia is the group country origin. So next is business segments. There are 6 business segments in Genting Berhad, which are plantation, consists of oil palm plantations in Malaysia and Indonesia, palm oil milling, and related activities. The second is leisure and hospitality, which there are theme park, gaming, dining, retail outlets, international shows, and business convention facilities. Third is property investments. It is involved in property development activities and real estate investments. Next is power, which it is involved in generation and supply of electric power. The fifth business segment in this Genting Berhad is oil and gas, where Genting Berhad practically involved in gas and oil exploration, development and production activities. Last but not least is investments and others, where this segment is engaged in investment in equity services, headquarter services, and information technology services. Next, we move on with the Chief of Decision Making and its responsibility. The Chief of Decision Making in this company are the Chairman Chief Executive, which is known as Mr. Tan Sri Lim Kok Thai, the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Tan Kok Han, and lastly, Mr. Lim Kyong Hui as the Executive Director of the company. Those chief decision making is responsible to control all the management in Genting Berhad, to develop strategy, goals and policy of the company, to review the performance and determine on how resources should be allocated, and they are also responsible for the operating budgeting and reporting aspect of their respective unit in Genting Berhad. So that is all for the type of segment and the chief of decision making from me. Now I will pass to Ayuni Sara for the next slide.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ayuni Sara and I am Accountant Executive of Genting Berhad. Now, I will explain about the reproduced segmental report for Genting Berhad. According to the FAR570, operating segment will be identified as reportable segment and disclosed separately only if they meet the requirement of quantitative threshold tests, which are 10% test and 75% test. There are 3 types of quantitative threshold, which are revenue basis, profit or loss basis, and lastly, asset basis. 10% threshold test is when the total revenue for each segment is divided by the total revenue for all operating segments. If it is in 10% or more, it should be classified as reportable segment and can be disclosed separately. However, if it is less than 10%, therefore it must be clarified as non-reportable segment and must be combined under the category of all other segments. For Genting Berhad, there are 6 operating segments, which are leisure and hospitality, plantation, power, property, oil and gas, and investment and others. And we are using the revenue basis to measure test segments. After applying the 10% test, there are only 2 operating segments that meet the requirement of 10%, which are leisure and hospitality and plantation with 72.1% and 18.43% respectively. Therefore, they will be considered as a reportable segment and will disclosed separately in financial report. However, for all segments that do not meet the requirement of 10% will be classified as a non-reportable segment and will be disclosed under the category of all other segments. After evaluate the 10% test, next it is required to compute 75% threshold test. For this test, the total external revenue attributed to those reportable segments is divided by total revenue for all operating segments, and it should be at least 75% or more, so that there is no additional segment to be reported. However, if the requirement is not met, additional reportable segment should be identified until at least 75% of the entity's total external revenue, even though it is not included in reportable segment. Now, I will show you the adjusted segmental report, as we are required to have at least 4 reportable segments and minimum 1 non-reportable segment. As adjustment figure in external revenue for power and oil and gas, it shows an effect of increase for 10% threshold test for each segment. Now we already have 4 reportable segments, which are leisure and hospitality, plantation, power, and oil and gas, and 2 non-reportable segments, which are property and investment and other segments. As the result, we have 92.5%, which means that Genting Berhad has been achieved 75% requirement. Therefore, no additional segment to be reported in this segmental report. Finally, a new segmental report of Genting Berhad has been produced. As you can see, for all segmental report, all other segments are included: power, property, oil and gas, and investment and others. However, for new segmental report, there are 4 reportable segments that disclose separately, which are leisure and hospitality, plantation, power, oil and gas. And other than that, will be clarified as all other segments as it is failed to meet the 10% threshold test requirement.
The last part of segment reporting is advantages and disadvantages of segment reporting. According to the Genting Berhad, the first advantages of its company is give the clear guidance to shareholders to know more information about the fluctuations that can give the big impact of overall figures. For instance, segment reporting will show where the earnings come from the company when the company gains higher than expected earnings. That is, it can identify which area are profitable and which area are barely profitable. So by that, the management can take any actions or steps to increase the profit of the segment for area that did not gain too much profit and maintain the profitability of the segment for areas that are profitable. Therefore, the business will be operating well and can keep growing for a better version. While the disadvantages of segment reporting for Genting Berhad is segment reporting is used to manipulate the data if the information is advertised through management's eyes. Furthermore, the other disadvantage of segment reporting is short-term numbers can be greatly overstated in segment reporting and ignore the long-term data.
So, in this slide, I will talk about the basis of preparation of interim report. So, basically, Genting Berhad have been prepared its financial statements of the company according to Malaysian Financial Reporting Standard (MFRS), International Financial Standards (IFRS), and complied with the requirements needed by Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia for the year ended 30 June 2022. Besides that, the company also have prepared the financial statement by using historical and consolidated basis. In addition, the interim report has been prepared in accordance with MFRS 134 Interim Financial Reporting, as well as paragraph 9.22 of the Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad listing requirements. The interim financial report should be read in conjunction with the audited financial statement for year ended 31st December 2021.
Now, we move to the accounting policy used by Genting Berhad to preparing interim report. The first accounting policy is MFRS 116, which is property, plant and equipment. Under the MFRS 116, it is stated that the cost will be less accumulated depreciation and also less accumulated impairment loss. Also, it is including all the expenditure that are directly attributed to the acquisition of the items. For the PPE's depreciation, the company used straight line method to allocate their cost to their residual value over its estimated useful life. For example, depreciation for buildings is for 2 until 60 years, plant and equipment and vehicle is under 50 years, and bearer plans is 22 years. The second policy is MFRS 140, which is investment property. If the investment property meet the definition of qualifying asset, it is measured at cost, including transaction cost and borrowing cost. Subsequent expenditure is capitalized to the asset carrying amount only when it's probable the future economic benefit and the cost of the item can be measured reliably. Also, all other repairs and maintenance costs are expensed when incurred. Lastly, when part of an investment property is replaced, the carrying amount of the replaced part is recognized.
For Genting Berhad, there are a few types of interim reports that we identified, prepared by Genting Berhad, which is number 1, condensed statement of a financial position, number 2, condensed statement of comprehensive income, number 3, condensed statement of changes in equity, number 4, condensed statement of cash flow, and the last one is selected explanatory notes.
Next, for the current and comparative period of statement, according to FAR570 interim reporting, the current and comparative period for each statement prepared by the company will be measured from 1 April 2022 to 30th June 2022, that equivalent to the second interim quarter of Genting Berhad in 2022. Let's start with the statement of financial position. Reporting period for current interim is 3 months, which is 1st April 2022 until 30th June 2022. Comparative end of the preceding year, the reporting period is 12 months, and the reporting date is 1st January 2021 until 31st December 2021. For the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the current interim reporting period is 3 months, which is 1st April 2022 until 30th June 2022. Cumulative year to date is 6 months, which is 1st January 2022 until 30th June 2022. Comparative for current interim reporting period is 3 months, which is 1st April 2022 until 30th June 2022. And the last one is comparative year-to-date reporting period is 6 months, and the reporting date is 1st January 2022 until 30th June 2022. Next, for the statement of changes in equity, reporting period for cumulative year-to-date is 3 months, which is 1st April 2022 until 30th June 2022. And comparative year-to-date, reporting period is 6 months, which is 1st January 2022 until 30th June 2022. For statement of cash flow, the reporting period for cumulative year-to-date is 3 months, which is 1st April 2022 until 30th June 2022. And the comparative year-to-date reporting period is 6 months, which is 1st January 2022 until 30th June 2022. There are 2 adjustments that can be made to the interim reporting. Number 1, inventory. The value of the inventory as at 30th June 2022 is 791,871,000, and the net realizable value is 791,621,000. Inventories are measured at lower cost and net realizable value. The company should compare which one is the lowest one. Since the cost is more than the net realizable value, Genting Berhad have to adjust the value of the inventory to the net realizable value, that is amounted to 791,621,000. The next one is trade receivable. As at 30th June 2022, the account receivable is amounted to 2,840,601,000. Net estimated uncollectible debt is 3%, which means the amount to be adjusted is 97% times with the account receivable amount, that we will get 2,755,382,970 ringgit. Therefore, Genting Berhad should reduce the value of its trade receivable from 2,840,601,000 to 2,755,382,970 ringgit. Let's take a look for our last part, which is the comparison between before and after adjustment. Genting Berhad statement of financial position as at 30th June 2022. For the inventories, before adjustment, the amount is 791,871,000, and after adjustment, 791,621,000 ringgit. As we can see, there is a decrease in amount, which is 250,000 ringgit. For the trade receivable, before adjustment, the amount is 2,840,601,000, and after adjustment, the amount is 2,755,382,970 ringgit. There is also decrease in amount, which is 85,218,030 ringgit. And that's all from us. Thank you for listening.